Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaches Sweden on the third leg of his five-nation tour. India and the Netherlands elevate their ties to a strategic partnership, sign key agreements. And the Indian duo of Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty finish runners-up in the Thailand Open. First up, all the latest news related to the Prime Minister's visit to Sweden. On the third leg of his five-nation tour, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has landed in Gothenburg, Sweden. Sweden's Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson received the Prime Minister at the airport. Prime Minister Modi was accorded a guard of honor at the airport. The visit reflects the growing depth of India-Sweden relations under the India-Sweden Innovation Partnership. Swedish Gripen fighter jets escorted Prime Minister Modi's plane as he entered Sweden. This is Prime Minister Modi's second visit to that country after his landmark visit in 2018. The visit comes at a time when both countries are looking to expand cooperation across key areas including innovation, green technology, defense and emerging digital industries. Shyama Mishra has more.
Sweden, globally recognized for its leadership in innovation, clean energy solutions and sustainable development models, remains a key partner for India as it pursues its own growth and climate goals. The two sides are likely to focus on expanding collaboration in areas such as artificial intelligence, clean energy, semiconductors, mobility and digital infrastructure.
Honorable Prime Minister will also have interaction with business community. He will be having engagement with prominent Swedish CEOs of companies that have operations in India and who wishes to increase their operations. He will also be interacting with the members of European Roundtable of Industry. This European Roundtable is a group of 60 top companies of Europe. So they are all coming together and Prime Minister will be engaging with the CEOs. Where this meeting becomes important is because of the background of India-EU Free Trade Agreement, India-EFTA Agreement and in India-UK Agreement.
Defense and security cooperation, which has seen growing momentum in recent years, will also feature in the discussions, highlighting the expanding scope of the relationship. The visit will also highlight the strong people-to-people connect between India and Sweden.
From sustainability and smart cities to defense and digital innovation, this visit is set to focus on the future of India and Sweden ties. This will also add a fresh momentum because both countries are looking for a stronger collaboration on the economic front as well as the technological front. With camera person Radhe Krishna, this is Shyama Mishra for DD India, Gothenburg, Sweden.
And joining us from Sweden is my colleague Shyama Mishra. Shyama, talk to us about the Prime Minister's arrival and his itinerary from here on. Shyama, if you're with us, talk to us about the Prime Minister's arrival in Gothenburg and his itinerary from here on. All right, we'll try to link up with Shyama Mishra in Gothenburg in just a bit, but while staying on these visuals for the moment, let me remind our viewers joining us on this broadcast, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has landed in Gothenburg, Sweden on the third leg of his five-nation tour. He was received by the Sweden Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson at the Gothenburg airport. He will have a number of engagements in Gothenburg over the next couple of days, including meeting the business executives from the European Union and also the Swedish companies who are present in India in large numbers. Remember, the Prime Minister's visit to Sweden is his first in 8 years. His last visit was in 2018. All right, I'm told Shyama Mishra is finally with us on the phone line from Sweden. Shyama, talk to us about the Prime Minister's arrival in Gothenburg and his itinerary over the next couple of days.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already been received by the Swedish Prime Minister and at the airport, and now the Prime Minister will soon be entering the hotel where the Indian diaspora, they've been waiting there in large number, and they are holding the Indian flag, the tricolor, and also the Swedish flag representing the friendship between both nations. And they are here, they're cheering for Prime Minister's arrival. Apart from that, we have little kids, little children who will also be welcoming Prime Minister, and we think that they'll be seeing the Prime Minister for the first time because there are many of them who are lesser than 8 years old. There'll be a group of Bengali women who will be performing their traditional performance, and there'll be also Swedish students who will be doing a Bharatnatyam performance. So these are the unique things that the Prime Minister will see once he enters the hotel. From here, the Prime Minister will be having several engagements. He will be meeting the leadership over here. He will also be meeting the business delegation. And the Prime Minister would also be having engagements at the Governor House, where Prime Minister of Sweden and also the Crown Princess of Sweden, they will be together with Prime Minister. There'll be delegation level talks. Also, there'll be gift exchanges. There'll be other engagements at the Governor's House. And once that is done at the Governor's House, they will be moving towards the world of Volvo, of which the report we've also sent earlier, wherein the old cars, old trucks, the emergency vehicles, and all sorts of vehicles which the Volvo has been producing, which has been making, that has been kept. The Prime Minister would be going there at that museum, and he will be meeting a lot of CEOs over there. So a big fillip to the business side, business ecosystem over here of both sides. And we are also understanding that then he'll be addressing the European side. He will also be meeting the European Union head. There will be joint statement for the press. He would be, and both sides would be telling what really transpired in the entire day, because whenever Prime Minister he comes on a visit, it is always action-packed, and we understand that this visit will definitely be something which the Swedish side or the country, rather both nations, will be cherishing, will be looking forward to, because this is something which will be a landmark event. Okay, Prime Minister has already reached here at the hotel, and you can hear all the cheering that has been on, and this renewed energy in people when they see the Prime Minister. That's undescribable, and there's so many people folding their hands, doing a namaskar to Prime Minister. waving the tricolor. They are holding their portraits that they have made of Prime Minister, the paintings and other artwork. They have been holding that. If you're getting the visuals, then you would be also seeing there are little children who are dressed in traditional attire. You can also see Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, a boy, and there's also a girl who's dressed in a Marathi kashti sari. Even a Rajasthani attire is there, and everybody is really excited. They are wanting to speak to Prime Minister. Everybody is wanting to speak to Prime Minister, and this is the kind of atmosphere which whenever Prime Minister goes to another country, the Indian diaspora feels that the head of the family that has come, and they would want to make a selfie, take a picture with Prime Minister, give their artwork, and to speak to him that how they feel when he's arriving here at a place which is so far away from home.
Right, so as Shyama Mishra is reporting there, the Prime Minister has reached his hotel in the city where the Indian diaspora is present in large numbers, as my colleague Shyama was reporting there on the phone line from Gothenburg in Sweden. As part of the welcome reception, the Indian diaspora will present a performance for him. Children dressed up in traditional attire will be present on the occasion. Bengali women will stage a performance in honor of the Prime Minister as well. And the Swedish people, led by women, will sing the Vaishnav Janato hymn as well as perform a Bharatnatyam recital for the Prime Minister by Swedish students as well, followed by an orchestra. So that's the gist of what to expect over the next few minutes as the Prime Minister makes his way into the hotel before he sits down with the Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson for delegation level talks in Gothenburg, Sweden. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi wrapped up his visit to the Netherlands with 17 wide-ranging outcomes and an elevation of the ties to a strategic partnership. Taking to X, he wrote, and I quote him here, "From elevating our relationship to a strategic partnership to expanding cooperation in water resources, semiconductors, innovation, defense, sustainability and mobility, we have charted an ambitious roadmap for the future. I express my gratitude to Prime Minister Rob Yetten for the warm hospitality and for personally coming to the airport to bid farewell. I'm confident that the friendship between India and the Netherlands will continue to grow stronger in the years to come," unquote. And the Prime Minister has just shared the highlights of his Netherlands visit, which has added new momentum to India-Netherlands ties. Take a look.
इतना प्यार, इतना उत्साह, सच कहूं कुछ देर के लिए मैं भूल ही गया था कि मैं नीदरलैंड में हूं। नीदरलैंड को ट्यूलिप के लिए जाना जाता है, वैसे ही भारत लोटस यानी कमल के लिए जाना जाता है। ट्यूलिप और कमल दोनों फूल हमें बताते हैं कि जड़ें चाहे पानी में हो या धरती पर, अगर सही पोषण मिले तो सुंदरता भी मिलती है और स्ट्रेंथ भी आ जाती है। यही भारत और नीदरलैंड के बीच पार्टनरशिप का भी आधार है।
पिछले एक दशक में भारत नीदरलैंड पार्टनरशिप ने उल्लेखनीय प्रगति की है। हम नीदरलैंड को भारत के सबसे महत्वपूर्ण पार्टनर में से मानते हैं। इसी साझा दृष्टि के साथ आज हम भारत नीदरलैंड संबंधों को स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप के स्तर पर ले जा रहे हैं। आज आप सभी की बातों में भारत के प्रति ऑप्टिमिज्म साफ दिखाई दे रहा है। इस ऑप्टिमिज्म को आउटकम में बदलना ये हमारी गारंटी है। वर्ष 2026 से भारत और यूरोप संबंधों में एक नए गोल्डन एरा की शुरुआत हुई है। The future of India-Netherlands partnership is brighter than ever before.
Let's get you some more latest visuals coming to you from Gothenburg in Sweden of the Prime Minister's visit to the city for the India-Sweden Bilateral Summit meeting, accompanied by his Swedish counterpart Ulf Kristersson. The Prime Minister waving to the Indian diaspora attending his visit there. The Prime Minister can be seen waving to the diaspora and interacting with them at every step of the way. This is the latest visual coming to you from Gothenburg in Sweden, where he has just landed on the third leg of his five-nation tour, where he will sit down with his Swedish counterpart Ulf Kristersson, seen on his left there on your screens, for delegation-level talks very soon, and we'll get you the continuing coverage of those talks here on DD India as we get those visuals. If you're just joining us, you're watching the latest visuals coming to you from Gothenburg in Sweden, where the Prime Minister has just landed. He was received at the airport by his Swedish counterpart Ulf Kristersson. The two can be seen here on your screens, waving to the Indian diaspora in Gothenburg. Remember, the Prime Minister is visiting Sweden on the third leg of his five-nation tour of West Asia and Europe, which has already taken him to the UAE and the Netherlands. All right, if you're just joining us, these are the latest visuals coming to you from Gothenburg in Sweden, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi has landed just a short while ago on the third leg of his five-nation tour. He was received at the airport by his Swedish counterpart Ulf Kristersson, who can be seen on your screens to the Prime Minister's left, waving to the Indian diaspora who've gathered outside his hotel in the city. It's become a trademark of sorts for the Prime Minister to meet and greet the diaspora wherever he travels abroad. And it's no different this time in Gothenburg, Sweden as well, where a large number of diaspora are present there outside his hotel to greet him. And as the Prime Minister's aircraft entered the Swedish airspace, he was escorted from there by the Swedish Gripen fighter jets, and thereafter, upon landing at the airport, received by his Swedish counterpart Ulf Kristersson. The two of them will sit down for delegation level talks in Gothenburg in just a short while from now. Remember, this is the first visit by the Prime Minister to Sweden in nearly 8 years. He last visited Sweden in 2018. In Gothenburg, over the next couple of days, he will not only hold bilateral talks with his Swedish counterpart, but also interact with Swedish businesses, as well as co-chair a European roundtable for industry. A number of Swedish companies are already present in India in large numbers, in sizable numbers, including, for instance, Volvo, IKEA, H&M, Electrolux. All these have become household names in India, and Swedish companies are among one of the largest investors in the Indian market, including Saab, for instance, the defense firm, which is building its Carl Gustaf weapon facility in India. It's the country's first 100% foreign direct investment project in defense. And if you're wondering why Gothenburg and not the capital city Stockholm, well, Gothenburg is the industrial, manufacturing and technological heart of Sweden. It's the home base for many of the iconic Swedish multinational companies that are heavily invested in India, including, as I mentioned before, Volvo, IKEA, H&M, Electrolux, Spotify, Truecaller, Scania, Ericsson and ABB, among others. And just to give you a sneak preview of what to expect over the next couple of minutes and hours, he will be accorded a reception by the diaspora at the hotel in the city, followed by his delegation-level talks with his Swedish counterpart Ulf Kristersson, followed by an exchange of gifts and the conferment of the Royal Order of the Polar Order Award on the Prime Minister. So if you're just joining us, the Prime Minister has landed in Gothenburg, Sweden on the third leg of his five-nation tour that has already taken him to the United Arab Emirates and the Netherlands. He'll be spending the next couple of days in Sweden interacting with local businesses and European businesses as well, and co-chairing the CEO Roundtable as well as the European Roundtable for Industry. Among others, who will be present at the event is European Commission's President Ursula von der Leyen. The bilateral trade between India and Sweden stood at nearly $8 billion in 2025, and both sides will be looking to ramp up their trade and investment partnership over the next few months and years, especially in light of the agreement of the India-EU Free Trade Agreement. As I mentioned, it's become a trademark, a hallmark of sorts for the Prime Minister to interact with the Indian diaspora every time he travels overseas. And it's no different this time in Gothenburg, Sweden as well, where he has made it a point to step out of the hotel to meet and greet the diaspora present there in large numbers, to meet him, greet him, and support India's emergence as one of the key global economies on the world map. Here you can see the Prime Minister waving and greeting the diaspora present outside his hotel in Gothenburg. He is accompanied by his host, Sweden's Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson. The Prime Minister landed in Gothenburg from the Netherlands upon conclusion of his visit there, and is now in Sweden for the India-Sweden bilateral talks to be held shortly. All right, just to recap the news we are tracking here on DD India News Hour. This moment, you're getting the latest shots of the Prime Minister's visit to Gothenburg in Sweden. You're watching our continuing coverage here of the Prime Minister's tour of West Asia and Europe. He's reached Gothenburg in Sweden for a two-day visit that will see him interact with his Swedish counterpart and also meet the Swedish businesses and European corporations as well over the next couple of days. We'll also be getting to you the visuals of the reception in honor of the Prime Minister at his hotel in the city, where the Indian diaspora will mount a performance in his honor. We'll also be seeing Bengali women hold a performance for the Prime Minister, in addition to children dressed up in traditional attire. Another highlight of the event would be Swedish ladies performing and singing the Vaishnava Janato hymn, and a Bharatnatyam performance by Swedish students as well, followed by an orchestra. So we're looking at a couple of events over the next couple of hours, including, as I mentioned, the welcome reception at the hotel in Gothenburg, Sweden, and the delegation level talks with his Swedish counterpart, Ulf Kristersson, in the city. Right, let me recap the visuals on your screens right now as we speak. You're watching the latest visuals coming to you from Gothenburg in Sweden, where Prime Minister Modi has just landed a short while ago from the Netherlands upon conclusion of his visit there. He's now in Gothenburg, Sweden on the third leg of his five-nation tour. He was received at the airport by his Swedish counterpart Ulf Kristersson, who can be seen on your screens right now to the Prime Minister's left, meeting and greeting the diaspora present in large numbers outside his hotel in Gothenburg. It's his second visit to Sweden in the last 8 years. He last visited Sweden in the year 2018. And in the last few minutes, we also seen Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson of Sweden posting a message on X in Hindi as well. If I translate that for our viewers joining us from around the world, he says, "My friend, a very warm welcome to Sweden once again. Two democracies, one strong partnership." That's the message put out by Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson on X. And these are the latest visuals coming to you from the hotel in Gothenburg, Sweden, where the Prime Minister is meeting and greeting the diaspora.
मंत्री का स्वागत किया, जिसके बाद एक पारंपरिक
All right, you're getting some more fresh visuals from Gothenburg, Sweden, of the Indian diaspora staging a welcome reception in honor of the Prime Minister. Here you can see women from West Bengal, Bengali women performing for the Prime Minister in his honor upon his arrival at Gothenburg in Sweden. These are the visuals coming to you from the hotel.
के स्वागत से पहले आपने देखा कि बंगाल
Right, so you're watching the fresh visuals coming to you from a welcome reception in honor of the Prime Minister's visit to Gothenburg, Sweden. Swedish performers at the reception in Gothenburg. The Prime Minister is accompanied by his Swedish counterpart and host, Ulf Kristersson. And here you can see a Swedish lady performing an Indian hymn, the Vaishnav Janato hymn. And before that we saw women from Bengali women perform as well.
पीएम के स्वागत में स्वीडिश छात्रों ने भरतनाट्यम प्रस्तुत।
Next, we are showing to you the visuals of Swedish students performing the Bharatnatyam in honor of the Prime Minister.
takate, ding kuta, kudrikuta, dalang kutaka tatiku ding kuta, ding kuta takata ding kute, ding kute tatiku ding kutakata ding kuta detta, dete, ta.
संसार भयनाशन अनेक जन कृतं पापं दर्शनेन विनश्यति नमः शिवाय देवराज सेव्यमान पंकजं ज्ञानयज्ञसूत्रबिन्दुशेखरं कृपाकरं नारदादि योगिवृन्दवन्दितं दिगम्बरं काशिकापुरादिनाथ कालभैरवं भजे सान्त्वं भवाप्तितारकं परं नीलकण्ठमीप्सितार्थदायकं त्रिलोचनं कालकालमम्बुजाक्षमक्षशूलमक्षरं काशिकापुरादिनाथ कालभैरवं भजे नमः शिवाय मूलकण्ठपाशकण्डपाणिमादिकारणं श्यामकायमादिदेवमक्षरं निरामयं भीमविक्रमं प्रभुं विचित्रताण्डवप्रियं काशिकापुरादिनाथ कालभैरवं भजे
Dhalang kutaka dikutaka dingi datum kam ta ka dim mi ta ka dim mi ta ka dim mi ta ka dim mi ta dhalang kutaka dikutaka dingi datum ta dikuti kutaka tam di kutak kutri kutak dhalang kutaka sakata di kutaka te di kutak kutri kutak dhalang kutaka tadikuti kutak ding kuta takata ding kute tadiku ding kutakata ding kuta detta dete ta वारणस्यां संसार भयनाशन अनेक जन कृतं पापं दर्शनेन विनश्यति नमः शिवाय देवराज सेव्यमान पावनाङ्गपङ्कजं ज्ञानयज्ञसूत्रबिन्दुशेखरं कृपाकरं नारदादि योगिवृन्दवन्दितं दिगम्बरं काशिकापुरादिनाथ कालभैरवं भजे सान्त्वं भवाप्तितारकं परं नीलकण्ठमीप्सितार्थदायकं त्रिलोचनं कालकालमम्बुजाक्षमक्षशूलमक्षरं काशिकापुरादिनाथ कालभैरवं भजे पाणिमादिकारणं श्यामकायमादिदेवमक्षरं निरामयं भीमविक्रमं प्रभुं विचित्रताण्डव
Next, we are getting to you the visuals of an orchestra being performed in honor of the Prime Minister. All right, you are watching the latest visuals coming to you from Gothenburg in Sweden of a welcome reception organized in the city in honor of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's ongoing visit to that country. And with that, it's a wrap on DD India Live, but news continues here on DD India. You can get the latest news on our mobile app on both Android and iOS platforms. Thanks for watching.